Mikel Ramsdale has committed his long-term future to the club. Can we expect Saka and Odegaard to follow suit? And is it a good reminder that while it's the end of the season, this is just a start for a young Arsenal team?
Well, delighted with the news for Aaron. He fully deserves that new contract, that extension, and obviously we want to keep our talent at the club and build on that. And there were a few more, obviously, that are very relevant for us to continue with that relationship, and we are working on that.
Can you give us an update on Zinchenko and Martinelli, please?
They are both out for the rest of the season. So
how long will their recovery process take? Any idea?
Different. Gavi is a pretty nasty injury. We need to assess in next week how long he will be out for, but he will be at least weeks. And with Alex, it's a calf issue, and he won't be available to play the next few games.
What's the reaction been like throughout the squad to the defeat against Brighton?
Obviously a very difficult one to swallow, especially the way it happened in the last 25 minutes of the game after a first half where it was very competitive and we should have taken much more advantage of many situations that we had in the game. So it was tough, but at the end we discussed the following days about where we are, what we've done, the remaining 2 games, what the possibilities are there, what is in our hands, what we can deliver. And we want to continue to be at the level that we've been for 10 months.
And just looking ahead to the Nottingham Forest match, what do you make of the job that Steve Cooper's done there, and also the fact that the club stuck with him during a difficult time?
Brilliant. They made so many changes, and I'm sure he found it very difficult with the amount of signings that they had, but the club stood patience, especially in the way they performed the year before as well, and what they've done in the league and maintaining that belief and that unity around the place. Big credit to him for what he's done with the team.
Finally from me, what does it mean to be nominated as one of the managers of the season in the Premier League?
Great, obviously a huge privilege. There are top managers in this division, and to be part of that is always really, really nice.
Hi Mikel. There have been so many more positives than negatives this season. Is that what you've been trying to explain to the players this week? Because they must have been down after the Brighton.
Just try to paint the picture, and we can look at the picture with a really narrow and thin vision, or we can have perspective of where we were, where we are today, and what we've done. But we cannot lose as well sight of what happens in certain moments that probably we weren't our best or at the level required to be the champions, or be in a better position that we are today, and we have to acknowledge that as well. But obviously the team, the players, everybody around the club deserves huge credit for how far we've come in the season. But don't forget that there's still 2 very important games to play for us.
At the start of the season, I guess top 4 would have been an aim, or the aim. Are Arsenal now, at the end of this season and building over the summer going into next season, genuine title contenders at the start of every season?
We have shown this season, and we are still there. 2 games to go, we can still be champions against probably the best team in the history of the Premier League for 10 months. And we are still there. 2 games to go, we are still there, and we're not going to bottle that, that's for sure. What happens next season, it will depend a lot in what we do, how we evolve, and how we start. But that prediction is very difficult to do today.
You mentioned there that you think Manchester City are the best team in the history of the Premier League. Do they need to go on and compete the treble to prove that?
I said arguably that they are. And where they are competing in their competition, what they did the other day in the Champions League semi-final. But as well, it shows the level of this league. That team has the capacity to win 105 points, 110 points if they want. They haven't done that this season because of the level of that league. And we've been there with them toe-to-toe for 10 months.
And finally, the signing of Aaron Ramsdale, the new contract for Aaron, and you have other young players that you're hoping to tie down to new deals like Saka and Saliba, etc. Added to what you may or may not bring in the summer, are you hoping that going forward this squad, which is the youngest squad in the Premier League this season, will grow together and have that kind of identity that great teams have over 4 or 5 years together, working up to possibly a Premier League title?
Yeah, we have built that core and that foundation, and it's a lot of quality, a lot of youth, a lot of enthusiasm, but as well surrounded by a lot of good people with the right experience, with a lot of leadership around them. And we have to continue to do that because the demands, the expectations, the challenges next season will be even higher. So we cannot get confused of what we are today, and have a lot of clarity how we're going to get what we want in the next seasons.
Mikel, a big thing speaking to the players this season is how they used the pain from last season on missing out to the Champions League as motivation. Do you intend to maybe you do the same for next season, to use the pain from this as motivation to go again for the title?
I don't know what pain. Depends what the pain is. Is a lot of moments to be extremely pleased with what we've done. Let's see where we finish in the next 2 games. Pain is part of football. When you don't win, when you don't perform at your level, it has to hurt, and it has to hurt the right way, and you have to use that pain to become better and to find answers and solutions to things that can make you win more. And this is what we are trying to do every single day.
And the recruitment's been so good over the past few years, but how much harder will it be when you're now shopping in that market for a team that's trying to win the title?
When you get closer to the top, then the margins are smaller, and what it makes you win or lose, it's minimal and it changes. It's a penalty that goes in or out, and then the season changes in that moment. Having 3-4 injuries or having a full squad in the key moments defines the season. So what we have ahead of us the next summer is extremely important, and we have to absolutely nail it.
Can I ask about Granit? There's a lot of reports, speculation about his future. Given everything he's been through at this club for 7 years, how important is that there's clarity before that last game at Wolves, so people know that if he's here or not, and they can give him the send-off that he probably deserves?
The clarity is there. Is a player that has played, I think, every minute since I've been the manager. He's an incredible respected figure at the club. He has a great story around him with what he has achieved at the club in going through very tough moments, and is a key and very important part of us. And whatever happens is something that we discuss, certainly not now.
Hi, Mikel. You've spoken before about the extra demands that being in the Champions League next season will place on your team. Do you think, as it stands, your squad is capable of competing both at the top level of the Premier League and also competing in the way you said that they have to compete for the Champions League, or do you think you need to add more depth?
Today? No, at the level that we want, no, because we didn't have the capacity to do that as well with the Europa League. So it's part of that evolution, and we have made a lot of good steps, strong steps in that journey, and we have to continue. That never ends. We want to be better, the rest will be better, then the mass will be higher, and we have to start and live with those standards and improve and be smarter. That doesn't mean only to sign players. Is to improve our players, and there are players that we haven't have the best out of them this season, and it is our job to improve them, because there are a few players they haven't had the minutes or the performances, and we have to seek as well for those players to give us a different edge. It's not only about signing players, it's about resources, staff, and improving certain things that can be done better or more efficiently or smarter.
And just on Saliba, I know there's no new updates on his contract, but he'll have 1 year left in his deal going into this summer. Are you willing to risk going into the final year of his contract, or would you like to try and get it done this summer? Do you feel you have to get it done this summer?
We are trying, we are having conversations, and we are trying to maintain, obviously, the talent that we have at the club, as I said before. But things take time. You have to agree it. There are different parties involved, and I think everybody's intention is the same, and hopefully we'll find the right solution.
In recent weeks, you've spoken a lot about levels, and I was just wondering, how do you go about balancing it, trying to increase those levels without losing the kind of foundations that you've spoken about, that you've built over the past couple of seasons?
Sorry, what are you referring to?
So, playing levels you've mentioned in recent weeks, and you've said you wanted to increase those going into next season.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about increasing those but not losing, I guess, the hard work that some of these players and yourself have done in recent seasons?
No, it's continued to do the 80% of the things that we do really, really well, and just trying to win margins and finding improvements and ways to be better in other areas. Whether it's improving players, whether it is improving processes, improving with recruitment. Obviously, we have certain margins there that for sure are very important for us to get to another level.